Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like this video, make sure you share this video, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So I'm going to do something a little bit different in this video, which is talk about the Lightning Collection Wave 6. Now previously I had gotten some leaked images from an individual who seemed to be a Power Rangers fan that put them up on Twitter. So here we had confirmation from the live stream, but I'm going to discuss this a little bit more in detail. So we have pictures here from Always Bumping, aka Dennis, here on his Twitter, and he's talking about how he's involved with the In Space Yellow and the sculpt. So he's putting up stuff as well too for G.I. Joe and different sort of Mighty Morphin Power Ranger stuff. And then when he's asked about how come the sculpts don't match the helmets accurately, or how come the face sculpts don't match accurately, he kind of ignores that, which is quite strange considering that's fan feedback that you would want to improve on, in my opinion. So he says, I'm disappointed by how the leaks happened. So this is in reference to the In Space Yellow, MMPR Black, Goldar, and Zeo Red, apparently. He says they deserve to be presented properly, not unceremoniously thrown online by some rando with cell phone pictures. Well, I'm disagreeing with you there, because that rando was probably a fan, aka a paying customer, I would say, most likely. And they certainly probably have more interest in the individuals that have been shown thus far with the live streams through Hasbro. I haven't gotten the sense with anybody that's talked about Power Rangers The Lightning Collection that they're a fan whatsoever, nor do they actually care about the quality control that's so bad within the line. And the sculpts on the figures, particularly on their helmets of some of them, particularly MMPR Red, and the sculpts of some of the faces of the humans, is absolutely disgraceful, and I think borderlines on offensive, in my opinion. So Dennis goes on to say, as someone I respect wrote in a different context, these sources aren't getting the scoop. They're just the only ones careless and selfish enough to leak it to the public. So I mean, this is an unbelievable comment in my opinion, because again, these are fans that he's actually talking smack about, and again, it's not great when the individual here is talking like this rather than accepting feedback for some of the very poor sculpting that's been done. I mean, MMPR Red's helmet is an absolute disgrace, in my opinion, and again, ignoring that, but just wants to have a pop at fans. So that's very strange. So I'm going to show some of the individual pictures. So we have In Space Yellow here. So she looks nice. Again, she comes with her slingshot and the new effect according to Hasbro, so that's nice. We have then our Zeo Red, and he comes with a sword, and again looks nicely painted. Looks okay for the moment until we see it up close. Again, we've seen pictures beforehand where the shade of the body was different from the arms. That's something I definitely would like to see Hasbro fix. We also see not Zeo, sorry, MMPR Black. So I'm looking very forward to having Zach as a standard member of the team. And what's interesting about this is, and again, it goes to show, like, I don't think there's actually care and love being shown to this line, because on the holster side here of the Power Rangers has always been a folded up blaster. So that's the Blade Blaster. Ridiculously, they've decided for MMPR Black, for reasons unknown, to give him the Blade version of the Blade Blaster. So we still don't have a folded up version of this item, of this Blade Blaster that the Rangers had. We have an open version of it that goes into the holster, and Hasbro seem to think they're like, I don't know, westerns or something, but they need to fold up properly and be put into the holster, not with the knife edge of it hanging out. I mean, that's not impressive whatsoever. I would rather have the three different Blade Blasters, or if you're going to give him the axe, put a folded Blade Blaster in there. And I think that's what everyone should have had. They should have had the folded Blade Blasters with them rather than ones that are in different configurations. That doesn't make any sense in my opinion. And then the last one then is Goldar, surprisingly enough. So in the previous leaked image, and I'm going to discuss that a little bit more now in a few moments, we had the green MMPR Ranger. So here we have Goldar. According to the people that were on the panel, they weren't too happy with how Goldar was originally painted in the original release that we got, and they said there's going to be a bit more gold on him, and then for him there's going to be more detail on the sword. He comes with a new effect. That's fantastic, and he comes without the wings. Personally, now I think a lot of fans are annoyed by this one, because I think you could have given him the removable wings, and you could have plugged in the unwinged look where he has the gold pieces hanging out of his back. So this is a bit of a disappointing result, I suppose, because a lot of people would have liked to have an all-in-one Goldar. Obviously, I think with some characters like this, and we've seen it already with Lord Zed, they are going to issue repaints and slight alterations and upgrades to these characters so that they'll make you buy it again. Now that's going to factor into a talk I'm going to talk about now in a moment. But yeah, Goldart coming out again, I think doesn't have a lot of people surprised or excited. The first one was a GameStop exclusive, which again is a middle finger to the international fans, because GameStop exclusives for international fans are literally impossible to get unless you jump on them very, very quickly on certain sites. But we're going to come and have a look at the face sculpts of the humans. Now, personally, I have a huge problem with this, and I mean, you can see it in this image alone. So we have Jason David Frank here, and they've already done the White Ranger sculpt for him, and they've already done a Lord Draken sculpt for him, which I think were fairly decent likenesses to Jason David Frank. This is awful. I mean, that does not look anything like Jason David Frank. That is, in my opinion, and again, I know I'm being critical of other people's work, but that's a disgrace. I mean, how has that gotten past and the amount of people it has done? That looks nothing like Jason David Frank at all. I mean, the hair, okay, the hair looks okay, but the face, look at the face. It's absolutely awful, and I think they should really revise these head sculpts. And he's not even the most offensive. I think the most offensive one here is Walter. Look at this. This is awful. I mean, I'm a massive Walter Emmanuel Jones fan. I'm a massive Zach fan, MMPR Black Ranger fan, and this is what we've gotten. Now, don't forget that we've already gotten the Target exclusive pack with the Dragon Shield, and that Zack head was pretty bad as well too. But look at this. I mean, he looks about 50. This guy, this head sculpt, I suppose, it looks like, I don't know, it looks like, it's unrecognisable. I mean, it looks absolutely nothing like a Walter Emmanuel Jones. Now, the thing is, a lot of people I've seen commenting online have been like, well, they were done in the 90s. Well, the Ghostbusters that were in the 80s, the head sculpts for them are absolutely phenomenal in my opinion. And I think they captured the likeness of Bill Murray very well. They captured the likeness of Dan Aykroyd really well. They captured the likeness of Harold Ramis exceptionally well. And they captured the likeness of Ernie Hudson exponentially, excellently well, I think, in my opinion. They captured the likeness of Gozer. They captured the likeness of Dana. So we have Sigourney Weaver. Capture her really well. And then we have this as well too. Now, I think obviously Hasbro have an issue with sculpting pretty women. It seems to be because the head sculpt they had for Kimberly, the Pink Ranger, was pretty poor as well too. And obviously, I think Tui Trang was very pretty, obviously, but I think the neutral expressions rather than the smiling expressions definitely come off looking better for the girls. And I think Tui Trang, there was obviously some amount of respect given to her, given her unfortunate passing. And again, a big rest in peace to Tui Trang. Amazing as the yellow MMPR Ranger. But going on here, we're looking at Tracy Lynn Cruz as Ashley. Funny enough, this is an image as well too from Turbo. So I think she'd actually look closer. This head sculpt looks somewhat, and I mean when I'm saying close, it doesn't look close at all. This head sculpt looks closer to her Turbo look than it does her in space look. So again, as people know, Nakia Barres was the Turbo Yellow Ranger until she handed over to Ashley, who then went on to be in space. So that's a diabolical. I mean, I don't know what to say. That's a diabolical sculpt in my opinion. Considering, I mean, if it was Tracy Lynn Cruz, I'd probably be fairly offended by that image is coming up. I mean, that's nightmare stuff. That's the worst, I think, in my opinion. I think that the head sculpt for Zack is downright disrespectful, I think. And again, Jason David Frank, you've gotten 2 decent attempts out of him so far, and then this is the third one. Yikes! I mean, this looks like they just budget cut this line or something, or budget cut the guys and girls that are here. Going on then to talk about the MMPR Green Ranger. So they announced on the stream that the Dino Thunder White Ranger is going to be a UK exclusive in certain UK stores, and it's also going to be a Walgreens exclusive, if I'm correct there. Either Walgreens or Walmart, it's one or the other. I think it's Walgreens. Yes, it's Walgreens. So Dino Thunder White is going to be a Walgreens exclusive in the US, so not really a fantastic reveal in my opinion. They didn't announce anything to do with MMPR Green, and to be honest with you, that really frightens me, because the reason is this: if MMPR Green hasn't been released yet, now someone could have gotten a very early sample of Wave 7, which could have happened because I showed it in my previous video. Someone could have gotten a very early sample of Wave 7, and that's why the gold, I suppose, on that Green Ranger doesn't look great. But what could happen is they could shoehorn that Green Ranger into being an exclusive, because we have already heard the cries of too much Tommy within the line. I love Tommy. I would have all the Tommy figures, no problem whatsoever. But I fear that it's going to be made an exclusive, and that's a massive problem for international fans, because if it's with Hasbro Pulse, it's going to be an absolute nightmare to get, because they haven't opened Hasbro Pulse still to international fans. Again, there's nowhere for international fans to get the Green Psycho Ranger. We couldn't purchase it off Hasbro Pulse. So again, that was sales lost for Hasbro there, unless people go the scalper route, which again I think is wrong. So Hasbro really need to open a Hasbro Pulse and really let the international fans in, because we're here, we're waiting to buy these products. But if you're going to keep cutting us off and we're not going to be able to complete lines and complete teams, people are just going to tune out and they're going to say, right, that's it, that's enough, I've had enough. The quality control really needs to improve, and I think on the stream itself, I think for myself looking at the stream, first 10 minutes, the two guys that were on it talked about themselves. That's not what we want to see at a live stream, particularly for a Hasbro live stream on Power Rangers. This is a brand that Hasbro have just purchased, and it seems like they already don't care, don't know what to do with it. Now, we've done a previous video on John Warden moving across the Power Rangers and Ghostbusters, and I think that that's a brilliant move, because he's a guy that cares, and he certainly has a very big reputation, and he has a very good reputation for accuracy as well too. So I hope when he goes across that he's going to make the needed changes, the changes that are needed to fix some of the glaringly bad issues that are going on here with this line. I think within the stream itself, like I said, you see two people there, John and Corey, I believe are their names. Corey was a sculptor, and I mean, again, I'm using that term fairly loosely, because between him and Dennis there, they say they're fans, but I mean, they're missing basic details, even so far as the MMPR Red Ranger helmet. So we've seen things going on within that stream. They were asked questions, so they were asked point blank on the QC, and they tried to give a roundabout answer of, well, we're trying new things. No, I've seen items with scratches on them. I've seen paint that's absolutely unbelievably bad within the whole uniform. And I mean, this is like very glaring issues. You've had people that have had problems with the paint on the Omega Rangers. You've had people that have had problems on the Psycho Rangers 5-pack. That just simply shouldn't be happening. Now, when you see that people are saying, "Oh, well, they're only $20 figures," okay, but you should be looking for a certain standard on these figures. You should not be happy with run of the mill muck and absolutely awful QC. I mean, the Marvel Legends line by and large has very good QC. The Star Wars Black Series line has by and large very good QC, and the Transformers line has by and large very good QC. And the G.I. Joe Classified line that I've seen recently has quite good QC so far. So if they're all those different lines, and again, Ghostbusters has good QC from what I've seen. If those lines are all produced by Hasbro, we should be expecting the same for across the board. So I don't want to be hearing excuses of we're trying new technologies. That's waffle, because they're using the same bodies majority for these characters. It seems to be a standard book for a male and a standard book for a female. So that's complete waffle that they're saying. That's complete lies, I think, in my opinion. When they're saying, "Oh, we're trying new things," that's nonsense in my opinion. Now, you talked about doing more 5-packs or more team packs. They said that due to cost that they may or may not happen. So we'll see what happens there. I personally think that the Psycho Rangers pack was probably, I suppose, not the greatest of ideas. When you've already released red and blue, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to say, well, why would I buy them again? Or you're going to have to move off red and blue as single releases then yourself if you're after collecting them. So it seems to be a bit of a weird decision that they've decided to put certain characters into packs and then use it again. Then in my opinion, they could have put green and silver into that 5-pack, and that would have taken care of the international audience, and also would have made people buy it. I know, again, I'm saying that when Green Psycho was already released, but if that was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, make some sort of similar or different deco and put it on and put them into the 5-pack. We've seen that questions were asked that they're focusing an awful lot on MMPR. They will, because that's going to be the biggest seller, and that's going to go into my next factor. I think, and I might be wrong here now, but I think, in my opinion, Hasbro purposely make errors like this, like you're saying here with this head and stuff like that, like with the helmets, in my opinion. I think they make these errors so that you do not have a definitive version, so that in 3 or 4 or 5 years time they can come back and say, hey, that MMPR Red Ranger, that Black Ranger that you had, here's an updated version, we improved the head. They do it all the time at Marvel Legends. They've done it with Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wolverine, so the most popular characters they seem to recycle and say, hey, here's a new, updated, improved, brand new, spanking new version. That's capitalism, and I understand that, and that is a good as a business. That's a good business practice. But as fans, when you're looking at trying to get the best version of the character, it's not great. Now, MMPR Black also suffers from, apparently he's missing red paint on his morpher, and he's also missing the black paint, the electric bolts. So we're starting to see similar things creep in that crept in with Bandai. This inconsistency that's happening, and drawbacks and cutbacks and stuff. So again, this is going to start getting fun when people realise that Hasbro are actually taking the mick, I think, at this one. So again, bringing it back to the original point there, they said that this thing is MMPR heavy. Yeah, it's gonna be. We're gonna try and look at other teams. That's fantastic. But again, I'm not going to be surprised if in the next couple of waves, or in an exclusive, we'll see that's going to be the movie Rangers, because that's just going to sell. Everyone wants them at the moment. That's what people want. They're looking at feedback. They're seeing forums. They're looking at YouTube channels like this one. They're looking at other YouTube channels as well too, to see what fans want. That's what fans want next. Now, I mean, I hope they update the likes of the Tommy head, Kim's head, Rocky's head, you know, very, very much so. I hope that those ones are updated, because at the moment they weren't good at all. So we're seeing them talk then as well too about Zords. So the Zords, they're kind of their answer for that was, well, wait and see, we have big things coming. Okay, well, that makes me very worried, because when you're saying things like that again, what's going to happen in the future? I hope John Warden is involved with future Zord designs, because I think his work on Transformers speaks for itself. It's been excellent. It was excellent, and I really enjoyed it. And I still I love it looking at my own Transformer figures. So again, I hope he's working in on that closely, and not leaving whoever's leading this team off. We've seen a Lightning Collection Zord that was done there, a Megazord. It was woeful looking. It looked cheap. Very big lack of paint on it as well. And then we've seen a Zeo Zord. So I think it was a 12-inch Zeo Zord. I don't know what they're doing when they're doing things like that. It doesn't seem logical in my opinion. That seemed like a strange move, and it's very inconsistent. So I suppose they're trying to throw out things and see what sticks. That might be what they're doing. I don't really know, because it seems very haphazard of what's going on there. So they talked about other reveals coming as well too, and I think the guys on the stream themselves knew that people had seen this stuff already, so it wasn't too exciting. If I was them, I would have broke out a Green Ranger, MMPR Green Ranger, been like, look, this is coming, he's coming with this, he's coming with that. I might have told people, look, we're excited to be working on what's next. We're working on Dino Fury at the moment. Here's a quick image of this. I think that these live streams have been wasted opportunities, because, again, I know the truth of the matter is that we've seen these leaked images, but surely there's some news that they could have said, look, I know you guys have seen this, but here's a really great piece of news. Otherwise, it was 30 minutes of waste of time and nothing really learned. So sometimes I don't think, I don't understand why they do the live streams like this if the images are already out. And not only that, but why are you covering things that are very, very well known? People have seen these leaked case listings already, they've worked them out. So come at us with something like a prototype, some sort of design, something that we haven't seen before, something that's in development. Show us something at these things, so that people are tuning in, because for me as a Power Rangers fan, I wouldn't tune into one of the live streams again. What's the point, you know? So I hope ultimately, and I don't think they will, I hope that they fix the QC on this. They were questioned, I think, on the Dino Thunder White, and they were like, well, what can we do? I mean, I suppose later down the line they'll probably see that as a reason to re-release Dino Thunder White with a team, or with a double pack with the correct visor paint on it. This is Hasbro. I mean, I know how they work. This is what they'll do. They'll put that black outline on them and say, look, guys, thanks for that, and we fixed it. Okay, fair enough. But they'll probably make it buy another figure, I suppose, with it. So yeah, I would have liked to see them talk a bit more about what comes in the future. Maybe, something out of Wild Force. Maybe some more stuff out of Time Force. Maybe talk about Boom Studios, Sentinels. Maybe perhaps from that, the Red Ranger ones, the Mastodon ones, the something like that would have been nice. Maybe some sort of Zord they're working on. The Marvel Legends had a giant Sentinel leg in a previous live stream. I'd like to see them finish off with kind of like, here's a Triceratops leg and it's massive, or here's what we're thinking, we're looking to do crowdfunding. Because again, I don't from the responses that were given, it doesn't look like they've thought too much about certain aspects of this line and how far and how high they can go with this. So I'd like to see them address the international market and start looking after international fans. I'd like to see them start looking after the QC and start sorting that out, because I don't think it's good enough whatsoever. And I'd like to see more enthusiastic people that are actually fans, that are interested in this brand, working on the brand, because so far I don't feel that we've had that. Any of the shows I've seen, any of the live streams and the people that I've seen, it seems like a stepping stone to them, and that's fair enough. That's great if you're putting your best foot forward and you're doing the best work you can. But to me, it's subpar. It's very ordinary. It's very average. And again, I think they hid behind excuses. I think at that live stream, and I was disappointed. And this image really shows the care that's gone into the line. Given the first kind of wave or two, were fairly good in my opinion, and I thought the out likenesses were really good, but they're starting to wane now. And I mean, this stuff is really poor. And again, I hope they change themselves going forward. That's my talk for today. I'm going to leave it there. Feel free to leave a comment, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. It always helps. And I'll be talking about more Power Ranger stuff as it comes along, because I'm a big fan and I'd love to see the brand continue. But at the moment, I feel that Hasbro seem to not know what to do with it, and that's kind of surprising given the fact that they've only purchased it and already they seem like out of ideas and seem like that they're already disrespecting the fan base, which doesn't go down well at all when you're a paying customer and a fan. That's it. Anyway, look,